place. But one guy risked his life to get through the camp bracelet and made it through. Then he radioed back to the bureau and said, hey, we found everything we need right here. And then they started sending people down a little bit at a time, and they started building. And when they got here, Enlil, on a crystal tablet he showed to his sister, it says, Ninma, he showed her the building construction technique that's going to be on this planet, he said, for all time. He already had it laid out, how he was going to build the cities, how he was going to build the plumbing, everything, the way the city grid was going to be laid out, it was all on this crystal tablet. Now, what kind of tablet is a crystal tablet?
Right.
It sounds like an iPad or something, in my opinion. Who sits around writing sci-fi stories in, 6,000 years ago? So somebody wrote this because they were told to, and I believe that what they wrote was exactly what we possibly have. They were getting as close to the truth as we could possibly get. Now, when they began doing all this building, all this work, people over here getting our cousins, human beings, cousins, not Homo sapiens sapien, but the prior version of us was already here. Now, this prior version of us, in my opinion, was probably more advanced spiritually. I think that we had bigger bones, bigger skulls, bigger brains. I think our skulls have been found all over. I think they've been misunderstood in some cases, maybe even for aliens in some cases, but that they had probably bigger pineal glands, probably could communicate silently, not technologically more advanced, but just more in tune with nature. A lot of abilities that we should have, like understanding how to feel the magnetic field and sense the magnetic field and navigate through that magnetic field, like animals, we've lost that ability, but we know in a laboratory setting we still have it because the crystals in our brain orient to the magnet.
Yeah.
So we still have it. We're not in touch with it anymore. But what happened was
That's funny. I have a friend who moved to the Amazon, and he said as soon as he moved to the Amazon and got disconnected from civilization and from technology, he said all these crazy instincts just came back into him.
Yes, I believe that because he needed time to be away from all of that,
right,
and just let the body recoalesce to what it truly is. This is the most powerful, machine that probably exists in this sector of the universe. And so, when they said, well, okay, well, these people here, well, we're not going to mess with them. We're just going to continue to build what we're doing. And the Ijiji built and worked for about 200,000 years.
And we were already here?
We were already here in small pockets around the planet.
Okay.
And just indigenous peoples, just living their lives as, cave people and things like that. Nothing advanced. And then they probably saw us just as animals, And then the Ijiji got pissed off, as you know, when the Antrahasis and also when the there's two different stories, two different time same story.
Now, okay, so can you explain exactly what the Ijiji were supposed to be? Were they part of the Anunnaki? Did they come here with the Anunnaki?
They came with the Anunnaki.
Lords of Orders, grant us your favor.
If I'm going to go out and buy a huge plot of land and say I'm going to build a city here, I'll probably call somebody like Rich Dunn and say, hey man, I need an engineer, right? This guy, but the engineer is going to say, well, I need brick masons and stone masons, and there's stone masons. I need electricians. So these were the people that knew how to do the grunt work. They knew how to build the structures based on the instructions or the blueprints. Right. So these are the people. They were builders. And
everyone in tip-top shape over there.
Anunnaki doesn't mean they're all one particular race of people. It means they were people who came from heaven to earth. Anybody from space that comes to earth is an Anunnaki. The civilization they built is the Atlantean. But even in the tablets, it talks about some of these people coming from different planets or stars, which means that they probably most likely were a mixed race of people. And I have evidence to prove this, and I'll tell you in a minute. So they got pissed off. They decided, look, we're working too hard. You guys are treating us almost like slaves now. We want to get a break. We want some relief from this work. And even that, not only that, we want women. They were pissed off they didn't have any women.
Really? So
this is where the sons of God fell from heaven. They came from Mars down to Earth in Genesis, and they took women with them back. But in the Sumerian time, you get the full story where they go to Adam's calendar in South Africa. They encircle the camp of the god, which is Anu, the head of the Anunnaki at that time, and they get ready to war. Yankee and Bill Anu come outside. They got their guards out there. Everything is tense. And they say, "Look, man, we're tired of doing this labor." And, we need a break. That's Adam's calendar there in Africa, where one of the oldest gold mines was discovered. And it dates back to 200,000 years. Isn't that interesting?
Really?
Yes. Pretty crazy stuff. But what's interesting is that these people, these Anunnaki people, they said, okay, well, we're gonna go to war then, because there's nothing we can do. You guys gotta keep working. And then Enki says, wait a minute, I have an idea. There's an existing being on this planet. Existing. We can add our essence to it. So this is where they took one of the EGG, took some blood from an EGG, and it's not really quite clear how they did it or what they did, but in some way, it seems as if they combined that with the genetics of one of these hominids, our cousins, and they made a clone. Mix an EGG, mix hominid, somebody they can control, where they can communicate with, they can teach to a certain level, they can get them to do the workload.
We must all work together against this brainiac threat. Make sure your allies are at optimal strength with ally favor and alliances.
Right. They call it a sacrifice. I don't know if they really would kill somebody in the
We've got some important work to do around here.
I would be surprised if they that level of technology and advancement.
The spoils of victory will be ours.
Something. I don't know if the person really died. Everyone said that they died. And what sacrifice could be or you don't know what the word is. It's potential now. That's the potential. You make the sacrifice for real. I'm not sure. My hypothesis leads me to think probably a little different. They're just too advanced. So they made this clone version of hominid / EGG, got it to work. So they started making more, and these had more birthing houses, which they have more birthing houses like the Temple of Dendera, Temple of Isis, and all these other places. They're still there, the structures, so that I take people to see them every year. Now, what's interesting is these people, they couldn't produce babies on their own. If you take a lion and a tiger and you mate them, they're going to have a lion, right? But the lion can't make any babies. No matter how much you try to mate it, it won't be able to have any babies. It can't. If it's a male, it won't be able to get anybody pregnant. If it's a female, it won't be able to get pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why? It's genetics. Genetics work to a certain point, and then they fall apart. Just like if you take a horse and a donkey, you get a mule, but mules can't reproduce.
Mule?
Yeah.
Did you know this, Steve?
No, I didn't know that at all. I thought if you make the thing,
Yeah, I thought that's how like breeding shit, like that's how I met it by like breeding different dogs together.
Yeah, certain combination of chromosomes don't reproduce. So yeah, if you horse and a donkey will make you a mule.
Okay.
But a mule can't make you a mule. Wow. Yeah, so same thing with these clones. So they start taking making clones to get them not to work. And so that's what the crisis is. Takes an egg out of one of these does something with the DNA genetics inside the egg. We call it it's an interval that's artificial insemination. And then she takes it to term 10 months. And there's a solution for the baby saying, I can't mate it via Adamo. That means first man. Now we have the first genetically modified, perfected version of Homo sapiens sapien. They tried to make him with these other clones. It didn't work again. They said, him. And then took DNA from him, made another female, and then mated them together, and it worked. So we got it. So then they started making Adams and Eves in these birthing houses. Adams and Eve. Adam and Eve weren't the only people on Earth. When they got here, there were already probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people already here. Okay? And then what happens is, if you take two people and get 8 million of two, if you start having and then she gets birth, and then those babies get from each other, you're going to have genetic mutations, and by the third generation, they'll be still genetic diversity. They're creating Eden, he was known as Satan, he did in the text.
Absolutely inferior.
He had people having painting laboratories. They could paint, they couldn't paint. And it was like many people. They were and he came and told Adam and Eve they were the same level as them. They realized they were not. That was knowledge. Then he starts calling himself evil. He's evil. Switch back to people. Keep him in charge of people. Read that ancient tale. Genetically modified by envy and extra enemies. And even us, we human beings, sapiens, Abraham, superseding and excelling beyond potential. And it was programming. He said also the knowledge of wisdom is programmed into our body, into the DNA that kind of future time we feel. That's yeah, stuff.
Don't let the villain win.
He got in the gardens, you know. He tried to drown himself in the waters. And the guards came and pulled him out of the water, didn't kill himself. And then, as you know, they had Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel. And then Cain tells God, well, God is Yahweh. He's talking to Bill, known as Yahweh. The Bible, he says, you're going to get out of here.
Brainiac isn't going to conquer the Earth in this or any timeline. Ready when you are.
I'm always ready to show that alien how nobody invades Earth on my watch.
My plan to reconquer the Earth lacks one final component.
Let me guess. We have sour data.
Negative. Your only exploitable resource is combat data. I will use it to upgrade this form.
You know, if you're interested in self-improvement, I could give a few
Witness my power. Your efforts are wasted against my force. Your time in the universe has ended. Your efforts are wasted against my force. Submit to Brainiac's supremacy. Brainiac has every advantage. Your efforts are wasted against my force. Your time in the universe. Witness my power. Submit to Brainiac's supremacy. I am perfection in every instance. Your efforts are wasted against my force. I am perfection in every instance. Witness my power. Your time in the universe has ended. Brainiac has every advantage. This battle has provided sufficient exobyte data. My advanced form is ready.
Love seeing that takedown. Whatever advanced form means, not so much.
Still on the ship. Just moved to a different location.
Your usefulness is at an end. You may leave. or be assimilated.
There's this separation, this divine contact against this ancient divine contact against no longer separate the divine humanity from these parts. So he was about to collaborate, people living, people collaborate. Look how divine we have this planet this very day. Here, if I go to Mexico, I'm able to take them to their daily. Yeah, and walk across this line, be killed, be shot. It's the same. They did it. What they did.
Physically locked. I can't open it. We need another way.
And we have great genetic modification in dogs that has really helped mankind back to achieve this potential in a much shorter period of time. In that direction.
This teleporter will send you further into the ship, and probably attract more of Brainiac's attention, but that's exactly what we want.
NASA scientist talk about this and talk all about these lights that will come up with all kinds. They will come up with some light comes up at night near all mines. You can get the hell out. It's studies. They found out. In fact, yeah, they found out workers things.
That hole in the floor there. Jump down. It's safe, mostly.
That's a radiant chamber. Oh, really?
That's the security terminal. Take it out and the rest of the ship will unlock. And the best part, Brainiac is sure to respond.
Create seismic vibration in the earth, and that was resonate up and down the King's chamber, and there was also here, and there's these in the ground, where they would pour some sort of chemical, and the shafts that go out of the pyramid, those would fill up.
Despite many flaws, you both were my prime templates when it came to designing exobytes. It is a simple matter using them against you.
Lex won't like revealing this, but he has ways of destabilizing Superman. Break Brainiac's control, and he can help you.
I'm much stronger than you think I am. How dare you. Say please. I'm the worst knight. Say freeze. I'm worst knight. Let's do it. You think you can stop me? Say freeze.
Nobody does that. Lex Luthor.
The fact that we're still standing means he hasn't won yet. We've got to keep moving.
Technological about it.
To humankind.
The Earth belongs to the one who would remember it after everyone else is gone.
And yet, you don't remember this. We always stop.
Before, I offered you a chance to remove yourself. Reinforcements activated. I am perfection in every instance. Your time in the universe has ended. I am perfection in every instance. I am perfection in every instance. Submit to Brainiac's supremacy. Your time in the universe has ended. Witness my power.
So we're trying to make our space.
Brainiac has every advantage. Submit to Brainiac's supremacy. Perhaps these upgrades were a hindrance. I must seek out more suitable ones of meta, magic, and tech. And you will witness it in its perfection.
Ah, what empty puffery. Where did he scurry away to this time?
Oracle.
Brainiac's teleported out.
The backside. And slung into that weird orbit that's in right now. And so the moon is too close to Mars. Too close to Mars. The equator shifted 45 degrees. It's like this. Because why? That mass that hit it, from whatever hit it, created a pole shift thrust of the planet and shifted the equator of science. So you want to work to Mars and about Mars. The thing about Mars is there's a lot more research in there than in Moon. Like there's water, there's elements, there's gold. You need gold technology. There's a lot of gold there, veins. There's also an atmosphere. And there's weather patterns and weather cycles and rain cycles and everything else. So you can go to Mars. There's less gravity on Earth. Like if you were to go to Mars, we'd be Superman. Pick up a boulder and throw it. You know, because our gravity, our net gravity from where our bones and structure is based on Earth's net gravity. Mars is smaller than Earth, so when we get to Mars, now we had grown up here on Earth. Our strength is magnified by a third on Mars. From part of it's like real. In that aspect of the is real. The difference between the strength here and the strength there, running and jumping and all that's real. So it's real. Now, when it gets there, they can grow. Satellite array that we had in Puerto Rico. It's no longer functioning, but we have images from it still. That was one of the largest satellites on Earth that were able to take radio images of the planets. We used it to point at that moon. And guess what we found out? Underneath the surface of the moon, there appears to be some gigantic, we can only assume might be metallic, beam-like structures 30 meters beneath the surface. So is it that they only stop there because that's as far as you can go? I mean, we don't know. But what's interesting is they also don't have the same depth, and there doesn't seem to be much of debris around the rim. Where did all that debris go? There's enough gravity to pull it back down, but it just seems to be gone. So what are those? Now, we have a black box audio, which I'll send to you so you can play this. In the black box audio from Apollo 11, the astronauts, I believe it was Neil, said, look at those convex domes down there. Convex craters, I believe it says. You know, convex. 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 Yes. Which doesn't make any sense. And he says, I bet the people down there will never figure out. And that's on the redacted, printed statement. They didn't redact that statement. It's audio. So that's dated into documentaries that I've done because I discovered that. So I'll send you a copy of that. You can play it in this podcast. What's interesting is that's a pretty blunt statement to make, and knowing this being recorded, and then they actually let it stay in the documents in the audio, black box audio, Apollo 11.
Can you find that on YouTube?
You might be able to. Yeah, I might be able to.
You made a big difference in D.C. Thank you.
I just had a guy on my podcast and he had these crazy experiences where he sees things. Like he goes out to his backyard and he has these orbs that follow him. He posts on Instagram and nobody knows what they are. It's really interesting. He thinks they're angels. He's got this great book called UFO God. Talks about like story about how he started witnessing these orbs. He started seeing this apparition. Anyways, he started getting attention from NASA. And one day, a guy from this is all like documented and confirmed. So it's like the crazy thing about him is the story is so phenomenal and believable, and he posts these videos every day. Like, he came down here, goes to the beach, and he summoned these fucking orbs from the beach. I'm like, we're watching this shit. And it's on video. It's not just like hearsay. It's literally filmed it. It's incredible. And the crazy
Objective in sight.
is that there's all things from NASA.
Threat level reduced.
Pentagon that started showing up in his house.
Status critical.
Let's take this one real slow.
Systems failing. Performance impaired. Damage sustained.
Long story short, the guy becomes like close friends and family. And this guy, Hal, turns out, was the guy who was in charge of the damage Apollo missions. And I guess one day they were having dinner and he asked him, Hal, he's like, what they say about the movie through? What's the craziest thing?
Critical damage.
And he's like, he asked about like the dark side. Is there stuff on the dark side? There are structures that are ancient on the dark side. And
systems failing.
That's all. Structures there. Shape like mushroom. Right now, it's so I'm looking at
minor damage.
Top secret.
Critical damage.
That's why God ask.gov. It's really something about this Clementine. I saw the word name Clementine anywhere I went. This thing never came back. I saw the girl that Clementine was often gone. Just showing up. This thing had supposedly hit something on the far side of the moon. Data, gigabytes of data, images, crazy images. So this Clementine was a locally orbiting mission that went to the far side of the moon and documented that there are structures on that side. If you remember during one of the Apollo missions, when the astronauts were orbiting the moon, they got to the far side, you were out of radio communication range. But all of a sudden, somebody hacked into their comms from that side, and it sounded like music. It sounded like people chanting in their ears, and they were all freaking out. It's on the black box. Right. What, you hear this? You hear this? What is it? What is that? And it filled up the whole capsule. So they got back in the communication range, and then they got reconnected to Houston. So there's something going on in that far side of the moon. It's very freaky. You know, it's but it's like, God with the ropes is incredible. Yeah, it's because there's some
monitor us and transmit back to them what's going on here since they left. This thing was in a polar orbit. We couldn't do a polar orbit at the time this was discovered in a polar orbit in 1960. We couldn't do a polar orbit.
All the satellites were in weird.
That's right. And a polar orbit, what does it give you? It gives you the ability to see everything going on the planet. Because as you orbit around the planet total, you pole to pole, and the planet rotates on its axis. You can take swaths of data from the planet, topographical data, resource data, human population data, everything. And you can put it into a computer and you can see exactly what's going on. And they'll have something called the all-seeing eye, where he knew everything going on the planet at one time. And I'm saying that you can do it with a polar orbiting satellite. That's the only way you can actually do that. It all started to make sense to me, so it became a big hypothesis. So I started researching it deeper, and then I got some experts together. That's why I made the Black Hat Satellite documentary. I believe that this thing is transmitting information to Lotus via quantum entanglement communication. Lotus is light years away, so that means it will take a long time to speed light. However, quantum entanglement communication right back to communication.
Civilization that was like an early version of us, or that was more alien-like than it was us, whatever it was. Do you think it's possible that they had more senses than we had, or had like an ability to tap into other dimensions, or had more of a perception beyond?
I believe that 100%. I'll tell you why. I went and did a walkabout in the Australian outback. And their verbal hand-down story for thousands of years is that they proceeded with this planet. I didn't know that this was the Lakota tribe, the Americans. Their verbal hand-down history is they proceeded with this planet by this universe. Two different parts of the world, total opposite sides of the planet, and getting the same exact story. In the outback, there's glyphs that are Pleiadian. Nobody has been able to decipher these hieroglyphs until this very day. Nobody, any university, anywhere can decipher these hieroglyphs. The Aboriginals and their Indian. What's interesting is the Aboriginals and the same thing with the indigenous Americans, they have